Hi everyone! I'm really excited to share Catherine Puller's new release today. I have the Wilderness Collector stamp set with me along with a few other items. And with that, I made this card, which I think will be a really great masculine card. Of course, it's masculine, could be for any audience, but just certain people might gravitate towards this kind of card more. I used the Wilderness Collector stamp set along with the Tufted cover plate die and the embossing powder rustic roof as well, which is a Catherine Puller collab with WOW, and some of the new enamel dots. And I also did something different with the coloring. I use inks to color instead of markers. So if you want to know how to make this, stay tuned. I have the Wilderness Collector set with me. I have the Wilderness Collector stamp set. This is, to me, like very camping adventure inspired. This kind of reminds me of like Girl Scout or Boy Scout badges. You can see there's various different things here, like Stay Wild, Adventure, as you can tell, kind of going with that whole adventure wilderness theme. And there are coordinating die cuts along with this. And then I also have the tufted cover plate. I think this is beautiful. It could be used for so many things just to add a little texture. And I am planning to use this on our card today. And then one of the most exciting things about this collection is that we have a new ink. This is the Getaway ink, which is a beautiful blush pink ink. If you don't know, I'm a huge fan of Catherine Puller inks. I think they have a great color selection and also just really good quality. And I love how they're very juicy and give a nice color payoff. So I'm just using this, I think, a little bit for today's card, but I know we'll be seeing a lot of it in the future. We have some enamel dots. I know last month we had the purples and yellows, so now we have the party greens. I really like these deeper greens that really go well with this whole release of wilderness and adventure themed. And then we also have a really lovely embossing powder with WOW and Catherine Puller. It's called Rusted Roof, and it's a really nice deep brown. The first thing I did was I went ahead and stamped one of the stamps from the Wilderness Collector set. I have the Let's Explore one here. And instead of coloring it with markers like I would usually do, I wanted to color it with Catherine Puller inks as well as this Tombow blender pen. I got this from the shop actually. I've been wanting to try it out for a while, and I think it would be fun to use some inks to color in this badge, and that'll be our main focal point of the card. So for the inks, I have Getaway, which is our new ink, Samba, and then we have Slate, we have Pistachio, Gingerbread, and I have two minis, which are the Catching Ray and Mardi Gras. I really love all these colors together, and I'm really excited to get started coloring this icon in. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to be using the blender pen, as I mentioned, and I'm just going to be working with no particular logic, but just from top to bottom. I'm going to start with the sun first because I just have one thing that's going to be yellow. So I'm just going to dab it in the ink and just color it in. And I was actually surprised when I started doing this how easy it is to color these in and how much ink comes off from this pen. And I just have one of these right now, but I will be buying more. So in between, I just wipe it off on a wet towel just so I don't get too much color transfer. So that's going to be our sun. And for the sky, I really want to use this ink, so I'm just going to use a little bit of the Getaway ink, wipe that off. I guess I was imagining it would be kind of like a sunset kind of sky. And as you can tell, it's this beautiful light pink. And one thing I will say is just to make sure your ink is dried before you color, so you don't get too much smearing or anything, especially with water or whatever. I did use I used the Midnight ink. This is what I use when I'm doing any kind of water, just because I don't get any smearing when I use the Midnight ink. So just color that in. So next I'm going to work on the trees. I decided to use Mardi Gras for the trees. I could also mix these two colors, but just to keep it simple, I'm just going to use one color and maybe I'll just do a little bit darker on some areas just to add a little bit of definition and dimension. So there we have our trees, and for the backdrop or the background, I'm going to use two colors actually. I was thinking to use slate kind of in the top half, maybe to be like mountains or just like the farther part of the lake, and then uptown would be on the bottom part. So I'm going to pick slate, and then that's going to be in the background area. Now, like I mentioned, we're going to use uptown for the bottom half of the backdrop. I'm going to leave this Let's Explore part open, and I'm going to use gingerbread to be the ground. Now our last one is gingerbread. So just going to color that in. I'm going to try to keep the next thing I did is use the tufted cover plate to just die cut a piece of white cardstock, and I also trimmed it down a little bit just to a smaller size, and it's going to be our main part of our card panel. I have a sheet of Aquatini CP colored cardstock, which will be my back card panel, so I was thinking to have it like this, and then we have our eye. And then I went ahead and took some light brown cardstock with the Wow embossing powder, the rusted roof, and I just stamped that on and embossed it. So I'm just going to first add some foam tape to this badge, and I'm going to put it in the corner. And then, like I mentioned, I tore just the side to make it a little more distressed. I'm going to stick that to the side. And then just to finish off the card, I'm going to add some enamel dots. I think I'm going to use the middle one because I think it matches nicely with the Mardi Gras. So I'm just going to do a few of those. And there we go. There's our final card. Thanks for watching.